welcome to this episode of Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Lauren Reel, and today we have an awesome show in store for you guys. We're going to be talking a little bit about chiropractic services in the area. We're going to be learning about the American Heart Association's Heart Walk coming up right here in Madison. And finally, we'll be checking in with one of our news partners, the South Central Library System. Joining me now, I have Dr. Kim and Dr. Melissa from Discover Family Chiropractic right here in Monona. Welcome to the show,
Hi,
ladies.
good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Great to have you on. So right in your name, it says Discover Family Chiropractic. So of course, family practice must be huge to you guys. Could you talk a little bit about what family practice means?
It's absolutely huge for us. Both Dr. Melissa and myself have our diplomates in pregnancy and pediatric care. So the bulk of our practice tends to be young families, pregnant women, children for different various issues. We do take care of everybody, and a lot of people will say, well, will you take care of my husband too? You know, sometimes you get the pregnant mom in, and they're asking questions about, well, will you take care of him? And of course we do. We take care of a little bit of everyone.
In the family. It's
absolutely.
Totally an umbrella. But that is awesome, and those sound like a really unique qualification that you two have both gone out of your way to get and make sure that you can service everyone in the family. And I'm sure during every lifestyle event too, you know, pregnancy, and then of course, you know, a young child, everything like that. So that's great. Now, how young can a child be when they first come in to see a chiropractor?
We have babies that have come on their way home from the hospital.
No kidding.
Yeah, but
gosh.
I often tell people, the moms, I want you to rest for 2 weeks, and I want you to bring yourself and baby back between 2 and 4 weeks.
Just give them a little time off.
I want them to
Relax,
heal
recover.
and relax. But a lot of times, there are times when people will bring their baby on the way home just for a tune-up, just for a checkup.
Yeah, just to make sure that everything's great, and you know, because you want to make sure you catch any health concerns early.
Right.
Before they actually get home and kind of hunker down for those 2 weeks.
So what are some of the things that parents then bring their children in for?
As infants, we see nursing issues, we see colicky babies, we see constipation, reflux. As they get a little older, we see headaches, sports injuries.
And those are some of the things that if you kind of take care of them right away, I just think mom and baby are both going to be in for such a smooth ride after you get that taken care of. So maybe it does make sense to bring them in right on the way home just to do a checkup.
Right.
Awesome. So what are some of the benefits of chiropractic care during your pregnancy then?
Well, adjusting the spine and pelvis and relaxing the musculature of the pelvis and abdomen can help the baby position well and help prepare the mom for labor and delivery.
And hopefully make a more comfortable labor and delivery as well, right?
And a more comfortable pregnancy.
Oh yeah, and that's so key. I'm sure that almost every mom wishes that she would have found a way to be a little more comfortable during her pregnancy and of course during labor as well. So that's wonderful that you guys can kind of play a part in making that happen for them. Now, are you able to adjust a pregnant woman at all then? And do the actual adjustments?
Absolutely, we can adjust them the same as we adjust anyone else.
There's no safety concerns there?
No safety concerns at all, and we actually have our table modifies. There's a breakaway section sort of in the abdominal area, and we can also elevate the pelvis a little bit to just make room for that growing baby or growing abdomen area so that the mom can be as comfortable as possible on the table.
And that's just another way that you guys, being a family practice-oriented chiropractor, have something that's a little different and modified to suit a pregnant woman. That's really neat because I'm sure that's not a feature that's offered everywhere. Very cool. So now let's talk a little bit about just a regular old adult, you know, they're not going through pregnancy, just kind of standard healthy person. What do they come in for treatment?
We find a lot of people come in for migraine headaches, tension headaches, mid-back pain, low back pain, sciatica. But then a lot of people feel really good after they've been getting adjusted, and a lot of people come once a month for a tune-up.
Yeah, so even if you are, you know, healthy or not going through any specific event in your life, you can still come in regularly and just keep yourself feeling good and keeping that pain-free level of living. That's awesome.
It's usually easier to stay well than to get well.
Isn't that the
definitely.
truth? No kidding, no kidding. So last but not least, I know that a big question for folks is if you guys accept their insurance. So could you tell us a little bit about what kinds of insurance you accept and if you accept patients without insurance?
We're in network for most insurance companies. We have some affordable cash rates. We'll do a little bit of a discount payment plan as well if the whole family is coming in and they're paying cash. We also work with workers' comp cases and personal injury cases as well.
Oh, well, so you definitely want to make this accessible for everybody.
Absolutely.
That's very cool. I'm really glad we could learn more about this and learn more about the very family-oriented services you guys offer at Discover Family Chiropractic. This has been Dr. Kim and Dr. Melissa from Discover Family Chiropractic down in Monona. Make sure you go visit them for any of your family's needs. They'll be able to help up with anything and everything, it sounds like, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, everyone. Joining me now is Jeff Mezzi of Dean and St. Mary's. He is the manager of non-invasive cardiac services. And today we're going to be talking about a super fun event you have coming up, the Madison Heart Walk. Is that right?
That's correct. First off, thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure.
The Heart Walk is coming up this weekend, held at Willow Island at the Alliant Energy Center. Everything kicks off Saturday morning at 8 a.m. when the festivities start. The actual walk starts about 9:30.
That's going to be an excellent day, isn't it? That's a great space.
It is. You know, looking forward at the forecast, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. We want to encourage as many people out in the community as possible to make their way down there, learn a little bit about their heart health, the risk factors, and what they can do to help prevent heart disease.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers that the weather is going to stay good and you'll be able to get as many folks out there as possible. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be the goal there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about, for those people that are going to be joining you, why is it important for someone to support the American Heart Association and participate in events such as the Madison Heart Walk?
Well, heart disease is still the #1 killer worldwide, followed not too far behind by stroke, which I believe comes in at number 4 on the list.
Correct.
Parts of heart disease are unavoidable. We all have some risk factors, genetics being one of them. We can't do a whole lot about that. But there are a lot of other risk factors that we can do a lot about, such as how we eat and certainly how much exercise that we get on a given day.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that being that is the number one killer in the world. I mean, we want to definitely make sure that we're doing everything prevention-wise that we can. And I think it's nice that you're making people very aware of everything that they can do on a daily basis to help eliminate some of that risk in their life and just live healthier overall as well. Because I'm sure some of these changes in this education you're talking about is good across the board and not just, in pertaining to heart disease as well, right?
Sure thing, and that's that's a major goal of the Heart Walk is to get as much information out to the community as we can, to raise funds for research, again to make sure we can educate our youth.
Absolutely, very important.
And foster proper habits
and
for
just
them.
build that as they grow up and as they're going into their lives, these are just going to be the habits that stay with them.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes, that is
so
a goal.
you mentioned there's festivities going on too. So what else is going on besides the walk at Willow Island this weekend?
Well, I mentioned kids. There will be a kids zone there.
Very cool.
Fun activities for the kids, including Bucky Badger and a host of other mascots.
Well, they're
going to
love that, aren't they?
They always do.
Very fun.
There'll be some heart healthy screens, heart healthy snacks provided as well, and just general education in regards to heart disease as well as stroke.
And I love that you're taking all of this education and making it very fun for the kids as well.
It will be, yeah. I know last year one of the themes was superheroes, so throughout the whole walk there were superheroes all over the place. This year the theme is why, and everyone has a reason why heart disease is important to them.
I like that. I like that you have a theme incorporated too.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you're from Dean and St. Mary's, so could you tell me a little bit about how Dean and St. Mary's got involved with the walk?
Well, Dean and St. Mary's is a platform sponsor this year, and we've always been involved over the years. Certainly, again, our cardiology program, both on the Dean side as well as St. Mary's, is very important to what we do. St. Mary's, as well as Dean, really want to be out on the forefront of population health.
And be kind of leading that journey and spreading that message.
Leading in that journey, yes. Certainly part of what we do is disease management.
Yes.
But I think the healthcare industry in general is moving towards disease prevention. And again, Dean and St. Mary's really wants to be out on the forefront of that, promoting healthy lifestyles, keep our population healthy so that we can prevent as much disease as possible.
And because prevention is so much easier than trying to treat after the fact. So all around, better for the population, better for you guys, happier patients.
Absolutely.
And, just better days for you guys,
Absolutely.
I'm sure, absolutely.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about how someone can support the American Heart Association and the Heart Walk if they'd like to get involved for the viewers at home.
Certainly just by showing up this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
at Willow Island would be a great first step. As many people as we can get out there to promote it is wonderful. We can direct you to our website, deancare.com. We'll have some information, as well as heart.org. Heart.org has lots of information, just heart disease, what you can do prevention-wise.
Yeah, and learning more about that lifestyle.
And
we were talking
learning more about
as
that
well.
lifestyle. The Madison Heart Walk itself has a website as well. I believe they're going to put that up on the screen
That'll
here in
be
a
right
moment.
there in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, that's right. You can get involved that way. You can get yourself signed up. You can fundraise. And just learn all you can about the Heart Walk.
So many great resources. Well, Jeff, it was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for coming on. And you folks at home, make sure that you guys are going to Willow Island at the Alliant Energy Center this weekend to support the Madison Heart Walk put on by the American Heart Association. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thanks for having me again, Laura.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Joining me now, I have Dr. James Fink from The Joint, the chiropractic place. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Now, you work at the clinic over at Gammon Road, is that right?
Correct.
All right, wonderful. Well, I'm so glad to have you on. So let's give a little background information first of all. Now, what is The Joint, the chiropractic place?
The Joint is the largest provider of non-insurance private pay chiropractic care in the United States. Currently, we have about 260 clinics nationwide. Modern clinics, each has a licensed doctor of chiropractic. Our mission statement is to provide, right here, make sure I get it right, improve the quality of life through routine and affordable chiropractic care.
I like that. It's good to have a strong mission statement, and as well as to keep all of your kind of missions and visions aligned all across the country, because you guys do have so many different locations, but you can keep everybody at the same level of
we
care.
try.
That's absolutely wonderful. So now let's talk a little bit about how you guys are doing that. How are you making chiropractic care so affordable and so accessible?
Well, if you've never been to The Joint, the first time you come in, it's only $19. With that,
For your first adjustment?
yeah. I sit down with you, or the other chiropractor will sit down with you, go over your condition, your history, do an exam, and do a treatment, and then recommend a treatment plan.
So just to repeat that for everybody, your introductory visit is $19.
Yeah.
That's
It's less than
great.
most insurance co-pays.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
If you need treatment beyond that, we have real affordable packages and plans for both individuals and families.
I can imagine.
Our best is a premium wellness plan, which is $49 a month, and that gives you 4 visits a month.
Wow, so you can go
So-
on a weekly basis to get that kind
And
of tune
that's,
up and then
that's
adjustment.
the whole theory, is like a weekly maintenance.
Yeah.
So for 12,
Maintenance
12
is so much,
25
so
a
much
visit
easier, isn't it, than taking care of something after the fact.
after it's broke.
Well, I love that
Keep
you
it-
guys are making it so easy to keep up with that maintenance. That's very cool. So let's also talk about some of the benefits of chiropractic care. Like, what would someone receive as a benefit if they are involved in that monthly program and they are getting weekly visits?
Most people think chiropractor looks for twists and turns in the back. I'm more a proponent of we keep the joints mobile. The joints in the spine, well, any joint actually has some movement to it. And the disc in the spine, it's the cushion, the only way that gets any nutrients and stays healthy is through movement. So my job is more to
sure.
keep those joints mobile and keep that disc healthy.
Keep it very healthy. And I know that is really huge, because I've known so many folks as they get a little later on in their life where those discs cause them just so many issues and constant pain too. So I think that kind of stressing the importance of keeping those discs healthy and keeping that movement really accessible is very important, even from a young age onward, just to kind of make that part of your routine, right?
Correct.
Very, very cool. So let's talk about maybe who benefits the most from chiropractic care.
Benefits. I've been doing this 20 years. I've worked on infants and all the way to the very elderly. Most of my career was in Green Bay. In the 90s, I was lucky enough to work on a number of the professional football players.
Oh yeah,
there.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of things then, working
Yeah.
with their,
I had
injuries.
one linebacker would have me treat him right before game time.
Just kind of loosen everything up.
Well, he
and
said
get
it helped
mobile.
his performance,
Yeah.
and but more importantly, it kept him from getting hurt. So
That's huge.
I treated him 2 years, and he never had a serious injury. So
Wow.
basically, anybody who wants to improve their quality of life can benefit.
Definitely. I think that's really impressive too, that 2 years without an injury, just because of keeping those joints fairly movable and a lot of movement, those discs healthy. That's very cool.
Yeah,
you
mobile
must
and
have had a lot
spatial.
of great experiences working up there with all those
Yeah, I
folks
enjoyed
as
that-
well.
that time.
And you said infants too, so anything from infants to elderly, you've had a huge variety of
I
patients that you've
adjusted my
cared for.
kids the day after they were born.
Wow.
And, people up until right near the end. So.
Wow, that's great. So I guess anyone and everyone can come to the Joint at Gammon and visit you and get taken care of, whatever
That's
their
right.
issues may be or whatever stage of life they're in. So last but not least, can we talk about the different Joint clinics in the area, where they're located and maybe what their hours are?
Okay, currently we have two. Fitchburg on McKee Road, right near the Super Target and
Sure.
the Flying Hound. That's been open almost a year. And then the one I run, that's on Gammon and Watts, right by Woodman's in West
So two
Madison.
very identifiable locations in the Madison
and
area.
that's only, we've been here about 3 weeks, so we just opened.
Wonderful. And you guys have plans to open a couple more in the area,
Two
right?
more they want to open in the next few years.
So that's going to make those weekly visits even more accessible, since
Much
people have
easier.
so many different places to
Some
choose
people
from.
live close to one, we're close to the other, but you can use either one.
You can use either one, so that package applies anywhere in the area.
Yeah, you buy a package, you like prepay for some visits, you can use any in the country.
Well, that's
I had a
good
guy
to
from
know.
California last week.
No
in-
kidding.
In town dancing.
Well,
and
that
he
makes it even
uses
better.
visits, with us.
Very cool. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. This has been Dr. James Fink from The Joint, the chiropractic place right over at Gammon and Watts. Thank you for being on our program today. It was great to talk with you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, everyone. Now to end our show, we've got one of our news partners joining us from the South Central Library System. This is Tracy Harold. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you very
to
much.
have you on this morning. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the topic of public library funding. So let's talk about, to start, how are public libraries funded?
Most public libraries in Wisconsin are publicly funded through municipal tax dollars, so property taxes. When you go to pay your property tax every year, a little bit of that money goes back to the library as a department, as a city department.
Oh, wonderful. And that definitely is something that the entire community is benefiting from. So
Absolutely.
it definitely makes sense that it's incorporated right in there.
That's right.
Now, let's also talk about, I'm sure that funding may have changed a little bit in the past years with the recession and then with kind of fluctuating use of the libraries as well.
Yes, so funding has been somewhat stagnant and perhaps has decreased in certain municipalities. Opposing that is the use, which has just skyrocketed.
Oh, has
And
it?
It has. It has. I
great
think
to
whenever it is, whenever there's a recession, people tend to come out and use libraries because they're looking for all of the services and materials that they were using, and then some. Oftentimes people are staying in town instead of going away on vacation, so they're looking for exciting things to do over spring break or over the summer
Definitely.
with their kids and their families. And then we have people who are searching for jobs and who are availing themselves of those services. So it's a balancing act to try to keep providing those increased services while budgets are not very healthy.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of an uneven scale right there. So
Yes.
something I know a lot of folks turn to is fundraising and just kind of reaching out to the community, especially since they are really benefiting and loving and utilizing your services. So could you tell me if you guys do fundraise at all in the South Central Library System?
Yes, so each individual library tends to have some kind of fundraising arm. It might be a friends group who does used book sales and then returns the proceeds to the libraries. A lot of our libraries in the system have done capital campaigns for new building projects or building improvement projects. Some have established foundations, which are very exciting because that's a longer term goal and a longer term
Certainly.
investment that gives back.
And
So-
definitely a program you can get involved in if you want to, be donating or be helping to fundraise. It's something you can get involved in and stay involved in for a long
Yes.
time to come.
Yes, absolutely.
That's great. And I think a lot of people would be very interested and pleased to hear that there are a lot of ways to get involved or to help the libraries fundraise and get some of those necessary funds to keep those resources supporting this growing need out in the
Yes.
community.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit in more detail about how a supporter of the library system could contribute and benefit their libraries.
I would go directly to the library director and ask how you can give. Any library director will be thrilled to know that you wanted to give. And then they'll let you know if they have a friends group, if they have a foundation, if they just take donations directly. Certainly we at the South Central Library System have a foundation, and you can give to that as well. So if you want to give to all libraries in the system,
And what is the exact name of that foundation then?
the South Central Library Foundation.
Okay, perfect. So it's very easy to remember and easy for folks to get involved as well.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Do you guys ever put on any sort of specific fundraising events too, like a one-time kind of event during the day or something
It
like
really
that?
depends on the library.
Sure, because you guys have so many in your system.
That's right,
So everyone
that's
can do
right.
something individually as well.
Exactly. Some do fun runs, some do kind of special parties where people pay admission. Some do fundraising book sales. It really
Yeah.
just depends on how big the library is and what their fundraising capacity is.
And that kind of just goes back to asking your library director, how can I get involved? What's going on? What's coming up in
Yes.
my library? Because you guys are a large system here in Wisconsin, so
Yes.
I'm sure there's a lot going on in the different communities as well.
Yes.
Very cool. So finally, let's talk about, does the library take other gifts, like an artwork or a collection of some type, maybe that could help enrich the resources offered by the library?
Oftentimes, libraries will take some kind of used collection, used books, gently used audiobooks, CDs, DVDs. If they can use any of that for the collection, they will. If not, they may give it to a friends group for resale. Oftentimes, it's good, again, to ask your library director what their
What are you in
policies
need of,
are.
what your
Exactly,
policies are.
exactly. Because sometimes gifts come with restrictions that libraries can't necessarily work within. So
right.
it's always good to check that out before donating things like that.
But it sounds like you guys are more than happy to, talk with those that want to contribute and see if you
Most
can accept it and
definitely.
put it to use. And I think it's really great that we brought that up because it's definitely something where if you do have books or tapes and you love going to the library, maybe think of going there first, before just kind of setting them out on the side of the curb or whatever it may be, because there's definitely
right.
people that could still get a huge benefit out of them. So just go talk to
Absolutely.
your director and I'm sure you can find out lots of things, many different ways to get involved.
Yes, yes.
Well, it was a real pleasure to talk with you today, Tracy. Thank you for
you.
coming on the program. This has been our news partner, the South Central Library System. And that's it for this episode of Talk of the Town. Thanks to everyone that joined us, and thanks to you at home for watching.